Good morning, Britannia, and hello to everybody across this beautiful planet. Welcome to 2C TV and the first live update of the day. This live stream comes to you guys just as we've also heard the verdict on the Rwanda plan. Yes, it has been blocked by the Supreme Court. We are going to do a special program on that straight after this update. Don't worry about that. We're going to cover all the angles when it comes to the verdict of the Supreme Court on Rwanda. But let's talk about what happened overnight in Gaza. The IDF and the Israeli military decided to do as they would say, the special military operation in one of the main hospital actually in Gaza. And we are going to be talking about the truth about what actually happened, because we've already had the biased BBC spreading propaganda. We've already had, of course, Hamas with the help of other media outlets spreading lies again. But the truth is already out. We also have more evidence for you guys, which we will be publishing throughout the day on this channel and, of course, on our community on Locals. Hello to everybody in the live chat. Let's talk about Al Shifa hospital. Late last night, we had the notification that initially Hamas got in touch and said, we are to let you know that IDF are going to be doing an operation. They're going to be raiding the Al Shifa hospital, and everybody expected Hamas to do it themselves. There was a lot of rumors about it, but then we actually heard from IDF itself that yes, they are behind this operation because they've discovered another Hamas base in that hospital, and they knew that the Hamas soldiers will be inside that hospital. So they conducted a very careful operation, but the media have not told you this. So let's talk about this. I can see in the live chat people are talking about Rwanda. Yes, we have heard the Rwanda plan verdict. It has been blocked. We're going to do a proper show on that straight after this. All right, let's go to the statement from IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, saying that we are carrying out a precise and targeted operation against Hamas in a specified area in the Shifa hospital based on intelligence, information and operational necessity. The IDF is conducting a ground operation in Gaza to defeat Hamas and rescue our hostages. Israel is at war with Hamas, not with the civilians in Gaza. This is where the truth comes out, by the way. And it's the exact opposite of what the media have been telling you since last night. The IDF forces include medical teams and Arabic speakers who have undergone specified a training to prepare for this complex and sensitive environment, with the intent that no harm is caused to the civilians being used by Hamas as human shields. This is very important. In recent weeks, the IDF has publicly warned time and again that Hamas's continued military use of the Shifa hospital jeopardizes its protected status under international law and enabled ample time to stop this unlawful abuse of the hospital. Yesterday, the IDF conveyed to the relevant authorities in Gaza once again that the military activities within the hospital must cease within 12 hours. Unfortunately, they did not. The IDF has also facilitated wide-scale evacuation of the hospital and maintained regular dialogue with hospital authorities. And yeah, so they gave a warning, again, well in advance. They also prepared the medical equipment. Again, this is what the BBC and the others did not show you. We got the evidence now. And they also brought in Arabic speakers to make sure that civilians are not targeted. That's why you have not heard an actual concrete evidence that IDF soldiers went in there and just targeted all the civilians and all the patients have now lost their lives. That has not happened. So they took in medical equipment with them. But let's not forget, under the current international law, it would have been even lawful if the IDF had completely destroyed the whole thing. You would think that, well, how does that work? It's a hospital. It should not be legal or lawful. But under when it comes to obviously the Geneva Convention of the 1949 and all the other humanitarian related regulations around it, Article 13 actually, this continuance of protection of civilian medical units says, number one, the protection to which civilian medical units are entitled shall not cease unless they are used to commit outside their humanitarian function acts harmful to the enemy. Essentially, that means if you use the medical units that you have as part of your military operation against the enemy, so that's what Hamas do in Gaza with hospitals, then that hospital is no longer protected. You can go in. Again, you still have to make sure you don't really randomly target innocent civilians, but at the same time, that medical unit, which is the Shifa hospital, is no longer protected when it comes to the Geneva Convention. So all the propaganda since last night that, they are breaking international law, Geneva Convention, everything else, that is absolutely a lie. They also took in, obviously, the Arabic speakers. They also took in the medical equipment, as we showed you guys. This is also more evidence from last night as well. Packages were sent in. We also have some uncensored footage that we have posted. I think it's going live within the next few minutes, later after this one, on our locals community. If you're part of locals, it will be on there. Obviously, we can't show the dark images on this platform, but I will send you the link to that as well. It's open to all. This is also baby food packages that the IDF brought in, but we also have other footage that I'm going to show you now on this platform about the patients in the hospital telling the truth that Hamas are there, and of course they are using people as human shields. This interview did not go too well for Al Jazeera, because Al Jazeera, there was a biased reporter there, this Palestinian man who was in the hospital admitted that yes, Hamas are using us as a human shield, and the interviewer just quickly, very swiftly walked away. Watch this.
بالنسبه للمقاومه اللي بتيجي بتخبى بين الناس، ليش تخبى بين الناس؟ يروح في جهنم يتخبى. يعني هذه شهادات من المواطنين بسبب يعني هذا
Yeah, so that's what you get when you get the truth from Gaza. Journalists walk away. Let's quickly go to you guys, and now we're going to continue. What's this? Brenton says, you said Israel targeting civilians, but you see time and again that's what Hamas were doing. I'm not really sure if that's about me, because 2CTV has never said Israel are targeting civilians. That is a lie. But if you're talking about the media, then of course. Right. Let's quickly go back to the update that we have. There is also the complications around what's going to happen to the rest of Gaza, of course. But IDF forces is now, the news update is already changing, saying that they raided the main hospital, Al Shifa hospital, and they did find not just the weapons, but of course the Hamas assets and the soldiers and all the other thugs, and they were using the patients as a human shield. It's not really a surprise, unfortunately. Why is it that the corporate media in the West and across the world are not scrutinizing this? Why are they not telling the truth? We actually do have the footage now. We have the evidence. Obviously, we have the evidence of the actual packages and everything else. But of course, the video, the uncensored video that we are posting on locals, on our locals community, which the link is in the description. After this one, you can watch that video where the Hamas soldiers were based in the hospital and they were using their own patients as human shields. That is disgusting. And of course, later today, we're also going to be giving you more evidence that the media are not showing of the Israeli Defense Forces and their soldiers when they approach the civilians in Gaza in general, what they actually do. That's very important as well, because if you listen to the media, they say, they are ruthless, they're just basically taking everyone's life. They're targeting civilians and that's it. But it's not really true. We will be exposing that as well. So the hospital has now been raided. It's been taken over, and they did discover the Hamas assets, the Hamas weapons and everything else. The base has now been completely occupied, and the patients have been looked after. Again, the problem with this is that Israel could, as they did, take in a lot of medical equipment and baby food and everything else. There will still be, unfortunately, collateral damage. And of course, as we've seen in the past, do not be surprised if Hamas also go around to the hospital rooms and to to actually target their own civilians and blame it on Israel. So unfortunately, expect a number of patients to potentially also lose their lives. But that's what we have. There is also, throughout the day, we are going to be covering a number of other things, including the BBC's reaction to the Al-Shifa hospital's raid, which is a complete idiotic lie. We're going to be talking about the Rwanda plan being blocked, obviously, as we just started the live stream and the verdict came out. We're going to cover that straight after this live stream as well. And we're going to be talking about Joe Biden giving more money to the Iranian regime. Let's quickly go to the live chat. You need to see the new skit about the BBC. Yes, that's the other thing we're going to be posting later today on the channel. There is a new sketch that's been done against the BBC by Israeli comedians. Just stay tuned because you're going to love that. That's absolutely hilarious as well. During dark times, you have to laugh. Otherwise, things could get absolutely depressing. Paul says, all I'm interested in is the truth. Sick of propaganda and lies. This is exactly one of the reasons I'm actually going to the Middle East this weekend, going to Israel, and on Friday we'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday to actually show you guys what we are seeing on the ground and talking to people, rather than actually just doing what the media does and say we have some fake sources and we've discovered that this is happening or that is happening. That's not how it works. Unfortunately, this is how things are in the media. Right. Let's go back to you guys. I Speak My Mind says, too many lies and fake news on the mainstream media. Many of the public are gullible and believe it, unfortunately. But this is the power of the mainstream narrative. While we say that the media are going down, channels like Tutsi TV and the other independent outlets get more views than the mainstream media, the power of the manipulation coming from the mainstream narrative is still very powerful, extremely powerful. And there has to be a very comprehensive study done about this in the future, because at this point, we're not really seeing the media as a credible entity, the mainstream media. And it's not just us. I'm talking about normal people out there as well. We're not normal, we're crazy. As in ordinary people who are not into politics, even they know that the media is not credible, but they still fall for it. It's because you can't help it. Because human brain, the moment you get an information, it just goes in. Even if you try to challenge it, the first thing you hear, that's the first thing you store in your brain. So if you hear from the BBC, like earlier, that, Israel has been targeting medical equipment, in your head, you just believe it. Unless someone actually comes and debunk it, which we just did. And we are going to do it again later today when we talk about the BBC specifically, what they did this morning. Barry Collins says, Maria, I wonder if they will have Harry Whitegilt on again. Yes, no. So I'm not going to spoil the BBC sketch done by the Israeli comedians, this latest episode. I'm not going to spoil it, but you're going to love it. It's going to be good. Bad Boy says, what's wrong with the BBC? It's full of S. You just answered the question. Yeah. Rod was well in advance in his time. He turned off the mainstream media 17 years ago. Well, that is a very smart thing to do. Also, it was very difficult because back then we didn't really have new media. We had some in America, but not in the UK. Let's quickly go back to you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have more trolls in the live chat. I'm going to be enjoying this day now. Yesterday we had this James Benjamin guy who kept saying, I have a new expose. Maya Tusi is actually Persian or Iranian. I was like, somebody finally uncovered that I'm not a true Anglo-Saxon. We're going to have more here as well. Roger Fleet says that I totally agree. It's like the media are running the country. Well, yes, I mean, that's the whole issue. The fact that the mainstream media don't have the vast majority of the country watching them. And we are talking about news, by the way, because there are reality shows on ITV or Channel 4 that would temporarily get millions of views. For example, the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, that's going to start with Nigel Farage. It is going to get millions of views. But the actual news outlets, they can't even reach the numbers that we are getting on this channel. But because the type of people who watch them. This is what the media rely on. The influential people watch it, and the influential people, using their own word of mouth, it's so subconscious, by the way, they basically do the bidding for the media. So when you have the hacks and the political people and all the preachers and everybody else watching what the BBC said this morning, the lies about the operation of Shifa, they're going to go to their local barbers, get a haircut, mention it. They're going to go visit their grandmother, grandfather, mention it. They're going to go around in a taxi, mention it. And that is how the lies of the mainstream narrative is spread. It's like a virus, and it's extremely dangerous. Joe Ashton says, I get my true news from Maya TV, well, 2C TV, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're trying to sort out the branding, guys. Come on. Bad Boy, thank you so much for your super chat saying, be safe out there in Israel, and we need you home. Thank you very much, Bad Boy. Yes, we have the first troll. We have Mo Salama saying, you are full of... Why is the O missing before F? Because that's supposed to say you are full of S, right? There's an O missing before F. Why have you censored the word of? Come on, guys. You can do better. If you want to troll me, do better. Put the O in, and I'll put the comment again. At least you spelled your with the apostrophe, which is good. It's spelled correctly. Well done. I'm proud of you. It's going to be one of those days. All right. Let's go back to you guys as well. Martin says, watching IDF soldiers carrying an incubators and baby medical wear into hospitals. Why isn't the media, mainstream media, mentioning this? Because because they are masochists. They like to be tortured by 2C TV. They like us to keep debunking their stupid claims. We have the images. These are the incubators. We have the images of the actual medical supplies being sent. We have the images of the baby food being taken into the hospital. We know what's exactly happened. We have also the uncensored footage of what happened when they got into the hospital. We can't post it on this platform for obvious reasons, but you can watch that within the next few minutes on our locals page, the community we have on locals. The link is in the description. Do it after the live stream. It's not on yet, and you can watch that. It's open to everybody. It's important for everybody to see the uncensored footage as well. Because that's when we discovered that, yes, Hamas soldiers and assets were indeed in the hospital, and they were indeed using patients as human shields. Let's go back to this, one of the patients in the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza who told the truth about Hamas using them as human shields, and the Al Jazeera journalist swiftly walked away.
بالنسبه للمقاومه اللي بتيجي بتخبى بين الناس، ليش بتخبى بين الناس؟ يروح في جهنم يتخبى. يعني هذه شهادات من المواطنين بسبب يعني هذا.
Yeah, that's what you get. I don't think they were expecting that guy to tell the truth. So that's what you have. Let's go back to see where is this guy? Where's this Mo Salama guy? We got so many trolls. Okay, so firstly, this guy said, again, free Palestine. Yes, free Palestine from Hamas. And then we had a reaction from one of you guys, from Tom, saying, free PlayStation. Exactly. That is how you debate with these people. Just ridicule them. Okay. Child of God 2 says, the IDF are the most powerful and the most humane, the most manly, kind, strong army in the whole world. They will become the superpower. They are amazing, and the whole world are they. I mean, to be fair, objectively speaking, this is propaganda, but it's vaguely true. It's not the most powerful, by the way. The US army is still the most powerful, but the IDF try their best all the time to go with a moral code. Of course, conflicts are conflicts, and it doesn't mean that by supporting IDF soldiers and ordinary Israelis, you're supporting Netanyahu's government. You don't even have to support Netanyahu. No one cares about the guy anyway. He has his supporters, he has opponents. It's about everybody in Israel, whether they're left-wing or right-wing or liberal or conservative or Jewish or Christian or Arab or Muslim or atheist. So it's not really about politics, it's about humanity. Keep up the good work, Maya. Have a safe journey, and I'm looking forward to your honest reporting from Israel. Thank you very much. Paul says, so if it looks like that we need immigration, let's have more Persians that think like Maya. That is what we need, sensible integration. The problem with the Iranians is that generally speaking, most Iranians are patriotic. So they actually, even if they are here, I mean, me and my mother were exceptions. Most Iranians who are political refugees who are in the West, they actually still see themselves as a guest. So the moment Iran becomes free, they've always said they want to go back anyway. So you can't really rely on the Persians to stay forever. There will be a lot of them who would, but a huge chunk of the political refugees from Iran, they've been grateful that they've been allowed to be here, but they want to go back the moment Iran becomes free. And Jackson says, MT, Maya Tusi, that's me. Stay safe out there. Don't talk to children dressed up as Hamas terrorists. I will try my best. But it's funny when they're on the live chat, though. Let's go to... Oh, we missed a couple of super chats. Bar says, thank you so much. Saying we won't stay quiet into Operation Bayonet. Yes, and Barry says, Maya, I'm happy I'm not religious in today's society as I'm fearful. If I was, I would be screaming out, Allah Akbar. Yes, it's crazy times, ladies and gentlemen. Also, how many times do we have to provide evidence to the mainstream media for them to actually take the truth more seriously? But as we said, we are going to be talking about everything else. This is actually, thank you so much, Holotap, reminding us about the BBC sketch. So just a reminder, if you just joined us now, what you've missed apart from the Al-Shifa update. We are going to be talking about the Rwanda plan that was just been blocked again, this time by the Supreme Court. Finally, this is the final stage. We're going to do, straight after this, we're going to do another live stream. And we're going to talk about the BBC lying about the Al-Shifa hospital operation that occurred this morning. We are going to be talking about the Israeli comedians doing another sketch against the BBC. That's going to be funny as well. And we're going to be talking about Joe Biden giving more money to the Iranians, as usual. He loves it. And of course, later today, don't forget, today, Wednesday, the 15th of November, in the House of Commons, we're going to have a big fight. Yes, they're going to be talking about surrender. Basically, the SNP and the Labour Socialists are getting together to vote in the House to call for Israel to surrender to Hamas. But they've called it something. What is it? Ceasefire. They call it ceasefire. But it's not really ceasefire when Hamas, if Hamas are not surrendering, obviously. So it's basically Israel surrendering. And there's a big fight right now because Keir Starmer could be sacking his shadow cabinet ministers. It's all falling apart. And Humza Useless, has been having a meltdown because he keeps saying Keir Starmer should really support the surrender. Israelis should surrender. Children playing politics. Thank you so much, Fat Simon. Is it Fat Simon? Yep. Saying, billed my TV license a couple of weeks ago, so 2CTV is my go-to news channel now. Keep up the great work, Maya. Thank you so much. People are going to start believing that I'm paying you guys to give me compliments and give me money again, which makes no sense. But thank you so much for the support. What do we have in the live chat? Let's go to your reactions as well. Joy says, I wonder if the IDF have found the entrance into the tunnels underneath the hospital. So we are going to get more details about the Al-Shifa hospital, what they've discovered later on. We know that, we published that video that the IDF did a couple of days ago when they've discovered all the tunnels, some of the tunnels. And when I go there this Friday, I'm going to try and see if there's a possibility of going towards the tunnels, so we could actually film from the tunnels as well for you guys, the exclusive footage. It's going to be difficult, obviously, but we'll find a way, especially the northern side when it's now slightly quieter. We'll find out more about the hospital, whether there are... I'm sure there are tunnels. The whole point of the hospitals in Gaza is to have tunnels. They love it. They love their tunnels. I think we should just go and Hamas to build our HS2 trains and everything else. Hamas would be very good to sort out the infrastructure in Britain, whether it's the railways or bridges or tunnels. At this point, you kind of need the Hamas leadership in Britain. We could basically just get rid of Rishi Sunak and bring in the Hamas leadership. All right. What's that we have here? Benjamin says, if someone makes body armor out of babies and starts obviously targeting people, then whose fault is it when one of the babies go? Again, this is the complications where back in the day, this would have been so easy to explain to people. But apparently now, because people have not seen, especially in the West, people are not used to conflicts. Generation after generation, they have not seen real conflict in the West. We are becoming a little bit spoiled and a little bit out of touch. The rest of the world are still living in chaos. At any moment there could be a conflict. And because of that, people in the West are just wishy-washy. They genuinely believe that if you call for a ceasefire, both Hamas and Israel would just stop and then they'll be friends again. I mean, how stupid do you have to believe that? Well, it's a huge chunk of people who go around protesting every Saturday in London. And across the world, by the way. Right. Chet says, you're believing false Jews. What is a correct Jew? Also, apostrophe is important, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I would love to know what a false Jew is. Oh, dear. Loving it. Yes, another reminder. I'm guessing people joining the live stream late, so they missed when I'm updating you guys. Yes, the Rwanda plan has been blocked. We're going to be talking about that properly after this as well. We're going to be talking about the BBC and all the others as well. Yeah, most of the time I see comments on the channel where people say, Maya, you should talk about this. I'm like, I already have. Just go check it out. Or I will be. But it's difficult, obviously, to keep everybody up to date at the same time. Rose Hippie Guy says, Maya, can we talk about the Israel canal plan that goes through the northern Gaza? Well, I can get someone when I go to Israel to talk about it, I guess. The actual experts who are there. Let's see what we have. I'm glad that the Rwanda plan is blocked because it was just a vanity project to appease us peasants, only hold a few hundred at a time. But I mean, and also very expensive anyway. The problem we have is that if you had a right-wing prime minister and a right-wing home secretary, now would have been the perfect time to go nuclear and go radical when it comes to immigration and border control. But you're not going to get it from the likes of Rishi Sunak or James Cleverly. When they're in charge, they're going to be diplomatic. They're going to love the United Nations. They're going to love the European judges, and they're too scared to even stand up to China and President Xi. What do you expect from these people? Anyway, we are going to be, as I said, today is going to be very busy on this channel and across the world. After this, we're going to take a quick break. In about half an hour or so, we're going to come back, talk about the Rwanda plan. Yep, that's happened in the Supreme Court. And throughout the day, we're going to be giving you guys all the updates from Joe Biden giving money to Iran, to the Labour Party falling apart, the debate in the House of Commons about ceasefire in Israel and Gaza, and of course, the BBC lying to the British public. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, click on the link in the description. That goes to our locals community where it says become a member, join our media revolution. That's where you can actually find the uncensored footage of what happened early this morning in the Shifa hospital, the operation. You can actually see the evidence that we have showing the Hamas soldiers and assets being in the hospital, also using people as human shields. Click on the link in the description and check out our locals page anyway if you want to become a supporter to back independence media and get more bonus and uncensored content. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.